I am reluctantly filming this project, and let me expand on that just for a second. By the way, welcome if you've never been here, but I do crazy projects on my trailer. Crazy sometimes. Anyway, I do projects on my trailer, and I don't always know what I'm doing, and this is definitely one of those projects. I'm cautiously excited about it, but let me grab the piece and show you kind of what the idea is, and then maybe we'll get it done, maybe we won't, we'll see. I am again, I'm doing this with a certain amount of trepidation, and let me show you what I got. Hello and welcome back. Boy, have I had a couple eventful week and a half. Dana and I are leaving within the next week or so. I'll do some videos. We're headed to the Oregon coast. We've got some adventures planned there, and unfortunately I live in Oregon, so it's either too hot or too cold. Today it's too hot, so I've moved into my carport, but we have some exciting improvements to the trailer. What I hope is exciting. It's not complete yet. I'm going to show some things about what we did. And yeah, in fact, you can look at so I bought a bunch of parts last week thinking that I was going to tap into our gas lines inside the trailer and then run it out exterior. So the total plan is that we've reached a tipping point. Normally when we travel, we cook outside, which is this Blackstone that you see kind of on the bottom right of your screen where I'm touching right now. And this Blackstone works great with this auxiliary propane can that we carry, or tank. It's a smaller 1 gallon tank. It'll go several weeks without any difficulties, no struggles, no dramas. However, we have since upgraded to our little fire pit here. And so we ran it on the tank and it worked fine for a couple hours, but then it went dead. And since I don't want to have to refill this thing on a weekly basis, I started thinking, or Dana and I started chatting, and so I thought we would tap into the propane system on the trailer, which obviously has much larger tanks. They're going to deplete much less quickly. To do this, I have to replace the hose on the fire pit. This is an Ozark Trail Walmart fire pit. The other thing we have to do is I had to purchase a fitting from, guess where? I got a hose and a fitting for this off a certain website, and came in a little box like so. I think this is a 10 or 12 foot hose, and it is, most importantly, got this little fitting. Some things you should keep in mind if you're going to do a similar propane conversion. And the reason we had to convert these is they're made with their own propane regulators. So what I'm going to take from the trailer to the device or to the accessory is going to be a post-regulated supply of propane, right? Sorry, words are difficult, but I don't need an additional regulator. There's regulators on the front of the trailer. That's what we're working on, tapping into that low pressure system. And to that end, most of the fittings, not most, all of the fittings we're using have these little propane things, so there's like no need for tape. And bringing back to what we're doing is I have already installed a quick connect to a piece of extruded aluminum that I just sheet metal screwed basically to the trailer frame. In a convenient location up near the tongue, I purchased about a 3-foot hose that goes into a fitting. This is the original factory fitting for the trailer. And so basically what I'm describing to you right now is that underneath the very front of the trailer, near on my trailer where the gray water from the bathroom valve is, the propane has a rubber hose coming from the propane regulator down into the propane system of the trailer. There is this 3-way splitter at that location. The feed line, which I had to buy an adapter for because this is a little wonky, but anyway, the feed line comes into this larger fitting and then splits off into 2 additional fittings. I went to my local propane supply place and purchased a 4-way. And so it's very, very dead easy to do this conversion. Again, these are not specialized fittings. They're just normal gas propane fittings. So again, no plumber's tape. They're a brass fitting with kind of this lip on here that seals on its own. It goes to a NPT, I think it's called an NPT Quick Disconnect Pro. It's a propane specific fitting, which in turn will allow me to use these new accessory hoses like this guy right here. So it's like an air chuck basically. If you're looking at that in this little camera, again, it fits in just like an air chuck. Boom, fits in the fitting, and we will have propane to the exterior of our trailer. I know many trailers come from the factory with this type of thing. This specific Casita did not, but I think this is going to, I hesitate to use the word game changer, but it will be very convenient. I will not have to lug this tank around anymore or fiddle with this hose to the tank, to the specific item. It will simply be, this hose I bought specifically for the Blackstone. Again, it's available on your favorite website. And this screws on right like so onto these. You'll notice it's just one of these propane fittings like so. And I'm not sure why it came with sealing tape, but anyhow, we'll cross that bridge. But again, these supply lines are very specific to applications that you use with propane and low pressure propane specifically. So yeah, we'll hook that on like so, and this will just hook to the Blackstone, stay with the Blackstone. Again, I think this is 10 or 12 feet of hose, and we'll see. We'll kind of see what we come up with. I've already test fit this. This appears to fit the Blackstone just fine. And this fitting, when I first made the conversion, the thing you need to keep your eye out, and I don't have the specific measurements of these, but these appear to be a pretty standard, these smaller ones, and it will be very difficult for you to see, especially from this camera, but this is slightly larger. And so I had to buy, and I've already tested this out too, but I had to buy this adapter because, as you can see, this end emulates that. My new one is all 4 of them are the same size. So this will be my supply line one. We'll screw onto the one down below. I've already got the new one installed, and I'll probably take a camera down there and show you guys kind of what we're up to and where exactly we're talking about. But with that, I'm going to finish up this project, maybe move the table and the hose and all this stuff out there, and we'll see if I can get the Blackstone. I should have the stuff to get the Blackstone fired up, and that's kind of my goal for today. The Ozark Trail Fire Pit hose is still in the mail, so it's in transit. So we'll see how that goes. If it gets here in the next couple days, I'll shoot yet another clip of that. But for now, let me kind of walk you through what I've installed, what it actually looks like, and we'll go from there. I did this little fitting in here is got some pipe tape on it just because it didn't have the little propane fitting like I liked. So we're still working on getting that attached. I rerouted this hose. We still haven't got to the testing phase of this little operation. Hold this, sorry if I'm blocking your view, but I don't want this black hose to kink or bunch or do anything like that. I'm not putting my whole umpteen zillion foot-pounds of torque on this propane fitting. Everything I'm using here is brass. Again, this is just the underside. So as you can see, this is pretty doggone solid. And then if you look up here, I've just routed my propane line up above the gray water cutout there, and it just comes and supported up here. I may even tie wrap that in a little bit. Sorry, I got to pay attention to where I'm focusing here. But there's my fitting. There's where my flexible rubber hose is here. I considered using copper for all this, but since the factory supply line is in fact a rubber line and is old, and seems to be holding up just fine, I think we're going to be in good shape. So what we're doing is we are just going to spray this stuff down. I probably could have done this last. Oh, well, that's less than desirable. Right out of the gate. That looks like it needs to be tighter. I'm glad I tested that. That should not need... I think that's good. Yeah. Well, I'm glad I did this testing. Now let's check under here. I'll lay in the wet spot, if you will. Well, you guys can see this up here in your little screen. So I've added pressure to it. I'm gonna respray. So this fitting here, this double fitting, for whatever reason, this little four-way here is a new piece, and it should be fine from the factory. However, I put some soap on there, and it was bubbling something fierce. As you can see, it is not bubbling at all now. You can see a few little bubbles popping. That's not anything. Nothing's growing. So I did take some of this, I think it's gas specific, like a Teflon tape type situation. And to be totally honest, after like 2 or 3 different attempts, I got it going the right way. If you put it on the threads the wrong way, it bunches up. But the second time's a charm. I don't see anything concerning down here. So I guess what we need to do next is clean up my mess, and I'm going to set up a table, and we are going to see if I can fire up the Blackstone. What we've got here is a Blackstone. You can see, non-stick griddle. This is one of the least expensive Blackstones. We've had 3, I think, so far. This is by far the most compact. This is actually the one we use. Fun fact, I need to do like a review video. Maybe on this trip we've got coming up, I'll do some kind of thing. But it has little feet on it that unscrew so that you can level it out. And we got some big plans for that. So what I've got here is a hose that we purchased significantly for, or specifically, not significantly, specifically we purchased this hose to do this, and probably fabricated by child labor in a far off land, but whatever. So this guy allegedly was, I want to say this was a 12-footer. It doesn't look like 12. Yeah, since I'm not anywhere close to 12 feet, it's not 12 feet long. So yeah, there's that. But this guy is going to go on here just like the factory hose would, and it appears to fit perfectly in that kind of application. Did on this, maybe it is 12 feet, I don't know. Anyway, we've got this end here, got this cool little valve thing swings out of the way, so it's turned off. Pressurize that, turn that on, and we will go over here and see if any magic is happening. Take off the deal here. So as you can see, pretty standard stuff. Let's see if we've got gas. Well, it seems to turn on. Let's see if it'll light. No, not yet. Of course, that could be a function of the thing. I saw the little clicker going. We'll see if we can get a... Well, something lit. Oh yeah. I picked a super bright day. You'll have to trust me. So we're currently running off of an outlet off the trailer. And typically the stove isn't this close to the front door. I'm just going to stretch this guy out. If you guys will bear with me here, I'm going to turn this off. And this is much more representative of kind of how we actually cook, is kind of in this location here. So I think we might be actually in pretty good shape. So hopefully this is the last video I will have to shoot of this project. Bear with me. We've got a little bit of a conversion to do. Got my hose here, again, from a world famous website. And of course the sun's coming up directly in my eyes here, or behind my head. So we'll see how that works out. But I have a handy dandy screwdriver. I have one Ozark Trail fire pit. I've already removed the hose, the fittings right here on the front of the unit. Unfortunately, our friends in China designed it in certain ways. You can see here, the rocks are inside there. These feet remove super easily. They are simply captured with a little thumb screw. We'll hold off to the side there. What I'm doing is to release this thing, I have to take the bottom of the unit off here, the fire pit. Why do we have a fire pit? Why do we have a gas fire pit, you might ask? Because we're headed out to the coast right now, here in a couple days, and we're staying in state parks, so there won't be a fire ban down there. I do actually enjoy a regular wood fire. I think everybody can agree that's, to us camping traditionalists, a wood fire is better. But after that, on our return loop home, I think we might swing into Central Oregon. And the fact of the matter is, in the summer months here in the Pacific Northwest and kind of on the West Coast, there's something called fire bans. The campfire bans, because of the risk of wildfires. So I need a way to still have that ambiance, if you will, and not burn the national forest down. So that really is about as quick an explanation. I'm not a fan of fire pits. I don't have a genuine love or affinity for any fire pit brand. This one Dana got me as a gift, and so this is what we're going to use. I see my little propane fitting in there. I think I got all my guys off. All right, so I've got 4 screws in here to release that thing. Actually, yeah, I think I do need to take that loose. Let me grab another screwdriver. I'll be right back. Heroically, I just happen to have a 7mm 1/4" ratchet in my toolkit. Yeah, that's already loose. That's loose. I guess I set myself up for success. This has been apart at least one other time when I figured out what I needed. And I may swoop in here and right off camera there under the table that you can't see, I have a bag of stuff. Whoops, I got one more screw in there. Calm down. Alrighty. I think this is going to make things simpler. Oh, I didn't grab the right wrench. So I guess we'll unbag, whatever this thingy is. This thing being a propane hose with what I hope to be the right quick fit fitting. Obviously there's no quick disconnect on the fire pit, so I will be rolling up the the propane hose when we use it in the future. That sure looks similar. All right, don't need that. So we've got this guy, which is gonna go right through here. Why don't you guys come in here for a minute and check out what I got going on. Let me move some of my stuff around here. And what we've got here is a 19mm wrench to tighten up our little gas fitting. Unfortunately, they could have exposed it, I think, and it would have been a little bit better. It's certainly easier to thread on here, but I guess they didn't want you monkeying with it. I am definitely monkeying with it. So we got that tight. Again, I'm using a 19mm open end wrench. So we've got the fire pit tightened up. And now reassembly is just reverse of disassembly, right? Isn't that the way this works? And I'm kind of on the struggle bus here a little. Maybe I'll do the easy one first. Let's try that. Let's try to get the easy one in first. So these do have a Phillips head on them, but you would need a right angle Phillips to kind of complete this task, ideally. And while I have one, I don't plan on spending the next 3 months here doing it. So I think if you have a socket set, metric socket set that goes down to 7 mm's, then you're probably better off. And again, I'm trying to do this without without leaking all the rocks out, since I'm a ding dong. And the fire pit comes pre-assembled with the rocks in a bag inside there, and which is just fine. So you can use this right out of the box and hook it to your propane tank. It's just, we're getting a little fancy around here. If you're getting bored watching this, I'm getting bored doing it too. I don't know what to tell you. Got that on, got that one in. So hopefully this will get tightened up, and then we'll put in our 36 other little screws in the bottom, and you'll never see that again. There we go. This is made, I'm not sure where this thing's made, but I suspect it's made in a country where people have much smaller fingers, maybe a little more dexterous than myself. Oh, come on now. I'll be doggone. Really, this is not complicated. I'm just making it seem much more technical than what it really is. This literally is a 832 screw that has to go into a little dealy whopper here, you know, a threaded hole, and I can't seem to pull that off. Ah, success, victory. You guys will get to see me dump all the little what fors and what have yous on here. And I really like these Husky tools from Home Depot, but I must say the ratchet does leave a little bit to be desired, because the little clicky part is very gummy, and it's probably not aided by the fact that I carefully stored these tools in a you know, it's in my shop, but it gets super humid. And well, I didn't get that one very tight, did I? Ah, we're tight now. And didn't get that. The upper ones that are easier to reach, I didn't get as much. Come on, little ratchet, don't give up. Wow, gosh dang. This thing is fighting me. I have other options if it comes down to it. We'll get a drill holes in here and really get in there. All right. Okay, so we just need this little dealy whopper. Those guys go inside there. These guys go inside there. So I'm just going to put my 8 screws in here. You wait, you try doing something on camera. Normally easy tasks are complicated by camera stuff. I can't wait. This thing's like been a week and a half in the making of this one video, just because I got tired of driving to Portland to buy propane accessories and try to complete this task. If you're living in a normal place with easy access to facilities, then Like if you're a suburban viewer, this is a really easy project. I just had to wait on mail order stuff and what have yous. I didn't, you know, out here in the rural areas, things are a little more basic. Oh, I got a screw in that already. And then all we got, after we get these screws on, we will, and the tightening of them will be, should be pretty simple. I'm just making sure I'm grabbing some threads here. And then we'll get to the fun part. We'll use my professional homeowner grade impact. Despite what it sounds like, I'm not firing these guys in with a bunch of gumption here. Being a little light on the trigger, if you will. And I've been told trigger control is very important. Okay, so we'll get these feet, and these are just thumb screws. They're super easy. I think the idea is that it's manufactured to disassemble, and well, this was easy until I put a camera on. Let me put it that way. But the idea is that you can take the feet off and maybe, come on now, you're making me look bad, dang it. Are you kidding me? Okay, when you tighten down these perimeter screws, it'd probably be beneficial if you didn't lock them down out of line with the, because here I am, I like to do things 2 or 3 times. Oops, got that one a little in there, solid, more solid than I, stuff's gotta fit together, dang it. Okay, so we'll give a little slippy view there. Ah, she fits. Let's get the rest of these put on. And we will have one high performance little doodad here. Gotta kind of press and turn that guy. These guys kind of gonna line up weird. Oh, I guess I should have left that a little bit loose so she can maneuver a little bit. These are not the most cooperative units that I've ever used. This whole thumb screw thing's turning into a much bigger challenge. Come on now, I've got stuff I want to do today. It's about 10 o'clock in the morning. If I can get this guy slapped together and she fires off, well, either way, I'm going up to edit this video today. Dana says it's only going to be 70 something today, but gosh, it feels warmer than that already. Okay, so we got the thumb screws all torqued down to thumb specifications. We'll reseat these guys. And so if you've endured my lack of prowess through this entire video, I appreciate it. This is definitely the long, hard way to make this conversion. So what we're gonna do is I don't know if you guys can see it, but there should be rods in here and a little propane ring and whatnot. And we got twist ties. There's all kinds of technique. Again, I'm sorry to whoever child labored this thing together, but she's been modified. So the idea behind this fire pit is that I've got a sufficient amount of hose to extend away from the trailer and simulate a little campfire. I'm out of frame, I'm sure. Totally out of frame. So, still doing this, and we will hook her up. All right. So we've got this guy. Let's see if we're successful. All right. All right. Low. We should have propaneage. Oh, I hear it. How do I do low, alto? I thought there was a, oh, here we go. All right, you guys ready? Take 37 as I relearn how to use this thing. So we're going to push this in, twist it, nothing. Okay. I have never had much luck with these little piezo igniters, so tell you what, stand by. I have a solution for this. We are going into the cache of light trays. Get my shoes back on here. All right, and we're back. Whoa! You guys see that? Huh. What are we doing here? All right. Is there a heat sensor in this deal? Huh. So on these Ozark trails, apparently you need to hold the handle in almost like a furnace. How interesting is that? But I think we can all agree that this is a success. And I've got plenty of hose to stretch out here where we're not so close to the trailer, but this is a controlled flame. No, I think this is going to get us what we want to do. Going to work for us. Except now the flames are being blown back into my face. My eyelashes are being melted off, so I think we're going to conclude. Does off work? Off works. What do you know? Who'd have thunk? So with that, I appreciate anybody that's hung out on this little propane adventure. This multi-day, week-long in my case, hopefully minutes long in your case, propane documentary, installation. Not a how-to, just a how I did it. So to recap, we installed a propane outlet near the front of the trailer. Then I had to come back and retrofit some devices, the Blackstone and now the Ozark Trail fire pit, so that when we're cooking outside, when we're enjoying a campfire under fire ban regulations, that we have those utilities available to us. Utilities might be the wrong word. But anyway, if you've tuned into this project for any amount of time, you'll know that this is the home of everything marginal. So stand by for more marginal content. I'm going to go upstairs and do some work, and we will see you next time. Hopefully you're seeing this Saturday. We're taking off Monday for the beach. We're going to have a couple weeks at the Oregon coast, and I hope to be posting some maybe tutorials or other little adventure stuff, but we will be living in the trailer. So I look forward to publishing content on the road. And as always, like I said, this is your home for marginal content. We'll see you soon. Well, here I was just editing my little heart out, and Dana called up to me, and check it out. I guess she got tired of me having my hippie hairdo, so anyway, I guess I'll get back to work. Holy smokes, I feel all light and fluffy.